Oddschecker are described as a betting price comparison website designed to help you get more value from your bets and beat the odds, which is a flat out lie, so I'm going to expose it. You see, you don't need horse racing wallpaper or a framed picture to understand value betting. This expose undercovers and explains 4 shocking truths about Oddschecker for all to see. Starting in '99, they serviced an early internet boom before being bought by Sky in 2007. Haha, they don't tell you about that on the homepage, do they? Which takes me on to point number 1, conflict of interest. How can Oddschecker be an independent price comparison betting website acting on behalf of you guys, the punters, making sure you get value so you can beat the odds, beat the bookmakers, all the while being owned by the very bookmakers, the enemy that you're waging war against with your bets? It just doesn't make sense. Granted, 2007 was a little while ago and Oddschecker have changed hands a couple of times, but they're actually owned by the Stars Group now, which is owned by Flutter, which is also associated with brands such as Betfair, Sky Bet and Paddy Power and many others that also feature on the Oddschecker's independent price comparison website. On their website, it says their vision is to become the world's best betting experience. But for who? Is it for you guys? Is it for the bookmakers? Is it for shareholders? Sky Bet, Paddy Power, Betfair, FanDuel, all of which makes more sense when you look deeper into their website. This shows why they don't show information around price restrictions. Sure, they show restriction facilities for gambling harm, but they don't show information about bookmakers' restriction facilities against winners. Now, the second point is going to come as quite a shocker for the average sports bettor, because when we land over on the Oddschecker website, we'll take a look on the screen here, you can see that there's lots of price comparisons and there's a few points to make here. First of all, the default odds format shown to us is fractional odds. It's very old, it's hard to compare prices against each other, which you'd have thought is Oddschecker's main priority, because what's the difference between 16 to 5 or 7 to 2? It's very hard to tell for the average punter. If we flick to decimal format, which is their non-standard format, you'll see clearly that over on the right there, the exchange give best prices all the time. But Oddschecker have purposely put exchanges over on the side, sort of neglected them off to the right, so they're the last thing to be seen if you're going via mobile, and sportsbooks over to the left. They have their own pricing against each other. So the bold numbers on the left show the best prices for sportsbooks, and the bold numbers on the right show the best prices for exchanges. In reality, if we were looking at a price comparison in the best interest of the user, you'd see that exchange is nearly always better than a sportsbook. And on the occasion that they're not, you'll get your sportsbook account limited anyway, something that's not spoken about. There's a second point here to the price comparisons, which is not Oddschecker's fault, but sportsbooks, betting websites purposely delay their feeds to affiliates. So this information is randomized up to a few minutes old, so it's not really a true price comparison either. Something that's mentioned in the small print down below there. Now, I understand why Oddschecker do this in terms of a business perspective, because the likes of Bet365 with a terrible margin, the worst prices in comparison to exchanges, pay far more for advertising than the exchanges, which is why you get the relentless bombardment of adverts for various sportsbooks all over the Oddschecker website. Also, I've been told in the past, and I can't confirm that this is certainly the case, but I was told by somebody that works at a betting company that you have to pay a minimum of 100 grand just to get your betting company featured on the website. Whether it's per annum or month, I'm not too sure. So the smaller independent sportsbooks that might have better offerings just don't even get a look in, which is totally against the grain of price comparison for the end user. If you take a look at the US website, you can see quite clearly what's going on there, because they've only got 10 sportsbooks listed on there. And I know there's a lot more sportsbooks than 10 over in the US, and some of them are low margin and more useful, such as Pinnacle, and they don't feature there. Again, it doesn't all line up with the best betting experience in terms of end users. Even their own tipsters don't seem to know where the best prices are, quoting bookie prices instead. Don't worry though, he knows his horses. Why? Because he's got horse racing wallpaper. And the third point follows on from the second, which is how Oddschecker actually make their money. And they do make huge amounts of money, by the way, because the majority of their money comes from affiliate revenue. Looking on the website, you can't go any further than a click without having more free bet offers and sign up offers forced down your throat. So this is how Oddschecker operate for free, get end users to sign up to the sports books. Again, probably the worst margin ones a lot of the time. and they get affiliate commission on the basis of how much money you, the end user, lose to that sportsbook. The default level starts at 30% across all products for platforms like Bet365, as you can see on the screen here. I'm led to believe very large affiliates like Oddschecker and maybe the Racing Post get far more favourable terms, and they'll also get CPA deals, which is cost per acquisition. When you just sign up, they get a payment on top of that too, which explains why they're quite keen on promoting casinos too, although Casino Checker doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it? In recent years, they've also increased the amount of content marketing they do too, with tipsters like Andy Holding, and also allowing you to place your bets on the Oddschecker website via them into the sportsbook with their bet slips over on the side there, which obviously leads to them promoting price moves and market movers that aren't really market movers, they're just poor value bets to get more money in their pocket. Again, not in the best interest of the end user. Now, the fourth and final point that I want to make here is they deliberately promote the worst offerings, and this is what I mean. Wherever you go on the website, there's relentless adverts for the same and similar bookmakers, which are, as you've seen from previous videos in this exposing series on YouTube, the worst sportsbooks and bookmakers around, that relentlessly restrict winners and promote and give free bets to the most degenerate losers. On top of that, they're advertising the worst betting products available, such as accumulators with sports books at reduced pricing, anti-post tipping. Again, if you put any kind of value bet down anti-post, you're going to get your account restricted really quite quickly. On top of that, you've got a most popular bets tab, and lo and behold, those most popular bets are usually bets with the worst over-round figures, again the worst value to you, which is obviously not in the best interest of a price comparison website for you guys, the end users. And then of course, I couldn't end without mentioning the insights and tipsters, which we'll cover in a separate video, where they offer, again, poor value, sending you to the wrong places to get an edge over the marketplace. Sadly, my Oddschecker verdict is similar to many other sports betting companies. Oddschecker are actively promoting many of the worst options to the public to make more money, whilst pretending to be on your side. A deceptive practice that's rife in the industry right now. Just read subscriber comments on these two videos here, where I expose the dirty tactics used by two different betting companies. Thanks for watching, see you next time.